Welcome. This video will serve as an introduction to the new Spillman Mobile Law Incident Reporting form. Initially, we're going to talk about how to access the form. There are several different ways to do this. One way is to simply go to Mobile and access it through the Field Reports icon accessed here. As we click on this, you'll see Law Incident. A single click on Law Incident will automatically do a search of the previous 2 weeks of incidents that have been taken by whatever officer is logged in here. This is a parameter that can be changed by your system administrator. If 2 weeks brings up too many or too few, it can be modified. You'll notice it brought up one incident that has been taken in the last 2 weeks by this particular officer. I can also do a law search and ask for a wider or smaller range of information. Bring up fewer or more incidents. I can locate a particular incident, double click on it, open that particular incident up. Once I have the incident that I want to modify or update, you'll note there's a button right here that says Edit. By clicking on that, that will open the new mobile form. When the form opens up, you'll see it looks like this. Now this form can also be accessed directly through a law screen in LW Main. If I go to Spillman, click on Law, and find a particular incident, by opening that up, you'll see over here under the double chevrons there's an option called Summary. By clicking on Summary, it opens up the exact same form. Any information that is already in that form will show up here. You'll note right now we're looking at the Summary tab, which is a good screen to be able to print off and to look at information that has been entered into the system. But if I need to modify it, I'll go over here to the top and click on Report. You'll note that there are several tabs across the top: Incident, Offenses, Persons, Vehicles, Property, and Narrative. In parentheses, it tells me how many have been added. If there are none, there won't be anything in parentheses. For instance, if there were no offenses added to this, there simply would not be a 1 there. But I can see by looking at persons, there have been 4 persons added to this particular incident. I can click on that particular tab. It'll open that up and show it to me. It'll show me a victim, that there's an unknown offender, and that there are 2 others that are involved with it. The one that is highlighted, I'll be able to see their information over here on the right. I'm going to go back to Incident. In the end, it does not matter if I access it through the law screen in Spillman here, or if I access it through mobile here by clicking on the Edit button. They will both accomplish the same thing. When I save it, it will update a law incident in here. Now, while working with these, as the form is opened and while it is open, it will auto-save every 30 seconds. It'll be available to me in my Draft Forms folder, accessed through Message Center, and in this folder right here. You'll notice next to each one of these forms that are in here, there will either be a green check mark next to all of them, or there may be a red void mark next to it. A red void mark tells me that it has been saved on this computer and is only available on this computer. When I get done editing one of these forms, it gets saved to the server. The green check mark tells me it's on the server and it is available to me anywhere. If I saw the red void icon here, I would know that I can only access that form on this particular computer. The green check mark tells me that I can access it from any computer when I log in there. So understanding how this works, let's start from the beginning and create a new incident with the form. I'm going to close out the law incident. I'm going to go back into the field reports from mobile. I'm going to click on Law Incident. You may have noticed that in addition to the search, which I could easily open up, go down here, click on Edit, open that form up, and work on it. I can also, with proper permissions, create a new incident from here. You'll note a button right here that says Create New. If you have the proper permissions, you'll be able to click on Create New, which is what I'm going to do here. This will allow you to create a new incident from scratch. You'll note that there's certain fields that are highlighted here in yellow. Your system administrator will be able to go to certain fields and make them either required or at least recommended. There are also fields that will be required by the software so that it functions properly. For instance, it will need a when reported time. I can click on the drop down arrow and select a date if I choose to. I can populate it to today's date. I can change the time on it if I need to. Normally this will be filled out by dispatch when they take the call. I can type in a time if I need to. And then I can populate the rest of the fields. I have an occurred from, an occurred to, incident nature. When I click the drop down here, you'll note it does have the Show All Agencies button if I need. I can also start typing what I'm looking for. I'm going to look for burglary, so I'll just start typing burglary. And it will restrict the list to show me just that. It will require received by. Again, I can start typing who I'm looking for. I'm looking for D. Gordon, so I'll just start typing Gordon. Click on their name and put it in. Fill out whatever else is appropriate for this. Responsible officer, agency, so on and so forth. Now you'll notice under responding officers, I can choose Mr. Gordon. But this is a detail field. Note the buttons next to it. I can add and I can take away. By clicking the plus button here, you'll notice I can add an additional officer. I can keep adding additional officers, as many as I need to, if they've not already been added to the incident. If I have one on there that I need to take off, I can hit the minus button and it will take their name off of it. Next we come to the address line. Again, these may be fields that have been filled out by dispatch, but in case you need to fill them out yourself, I'm going to walk through each of them so that you'll understand how they work. I'm going to punch in an address, 401 Elder Street. As I hit tab to leave that field, notice it searches GeoBase. It says it has been used. There's a check mark there. It gives me a score range of 66%, the address that I typed in, and a city with it. I could ask for more results that are similar to it, but that's the one I'm looking for. So I simply click Select because it is highlighted. Note right here this symbol that showed up. That symbol tells me that this is a validated address. If that symbol did not exist, it would tell me that that address does not exist in the system. It's a non-validated address. You'll note it populated the city, the state, no zip, but normally that would show up in there. And then a zone. For this particular call, where we are creating it from scratch, you'll notice there's no complainant information in here. I can simply click Add, and you'll see any recent search that I have done is going to show up here. If the individual that I want to add to it is not on here, I can click on New Search, and it'll bring me into mobile and allow me to do a search for an individual. When I do that search, you'll see as they open their record, we'll open up Denise Flutie's record. Now when I go back here to add, you'll notice her name is available to me. You don't have to close the form and reopen it like you did with previous forms. Be able to click on her name. She has now been added as a complainant. Then there's some miscellaneous fields down here that you can add a judicial status, a disposition if you choose to, put in a disposition date. You can type it. You can also click on the drop down arrow and choose it from there if you choose, if you prefer, in any other fields that your agency normally uses. At this point we will conclude how to begin an incident and fill it out. In another video we'll talk about adding in offenses, persons, vehicles, properties, and narratives. At this point I could click Save. I could close it out and it would give me a prompt asking me if I want to save it, and it would be available to me in my draft folders, and I could still go into the law incident, go back into it, and edit it at a later date. That will conclude this video.